Is it okay?
Yeah.
Oh, all right.
If you can turn it on the left, is it on the left side? HDMI?
That's looking better.
All right, I think we're in business.
Detective, thank you. You already removed your mask, and obviously, as I understand it, you may be visiting the witness stand more than once, so if you're willing and able to each time, that would be appreciated. Go ahead.
Thank you.
Good morning, sir. Could you please state and spell your name for the record?
My name is Brian Shunk, B-R-I-A-N. Last name is S-H-U-N-K.
And you're one of the lead case detectives in this case, aren't you?
Correct.
How long have you been a detective with the Dane County Sheriff's Department?
I've been with the department for approximately 13 years. I've been a detective for 2.
And who are you joined by as a co-lead detective in this case?
Detective Sabrina Sims.
You're the first detective to testify, and so you get the honor. But tell us what the difference, I suppose, in the work of a detective is from the work of just a normal sheriff's deputy who we've heard from so far.
Sure. Detectives are typically assigned more follow-up to initial reports. We basically read all the reports for every case. We'll develop leads and then exhaust those leads, whether to approve or disprove a crime occurred or whether a suspect, like I said, is proved or disproved to be the offender. As far as major cases go, kind of the same thing. Just keep on reading all the reports, developing leads, and following up on everything.
In some cases, you might be the only person working on an investigation as a detective, correct?
Correct.
That was not the case here, was it?
It was not.
Many people worked on this
Many
case.
people.
Let's talk at first, just generally, about missing persons. You've investigated missing persons before, haven't you?
Yes.
That's something a police officer or a sheriff's deputy does normally.
Yes.
Fair to say you treat missing adults different than you do missing children?
There are similarities, but yes.
Adults, in many respects, if they want, can go missing, and there won't be a ton of police involvement as long as they're not at risk. Right?
Correct.
Where if a kid goes missing, sometimes they hit that Amber Alert button and they wake us all up at night.
Yes.
Okay. They don't do that for adults, really.
No.
When you're entering into a missing persons investigation involving adults, what kind of things are you doing? And not speaking specifically about this case, but in general, what are you doing as a detective in a missing persons investigation?
First thing, whoever the reporting party is, we want to talk to them and just see what background information they have as far as, the days leading up to when they were last seen or heard from. We'll go back through and make contacts with any of the people that would have been in last contact, such as coworkers, employers, friends, family, and just basically develop a list of leads of who we can talk to, where they were last seen. We'll talk to banks, figure out have they been spending any money. The list goes on.
Were you asked to perform some of that work on July 7th, 2021, regarding the missing persons of Krista and Bart Halderson in Windsor?
Yes.
How early did you get involved in the investigation? I think we heard that Chandler went into the sheriff's department about 11:30 that day. When were you first kind of involved?
I believe I was called around 1:30 p.m. and was at the Halderson home speaking with Chandler by 4:30.
So now we've heard from 3 people already. You're the 4th person to speak to Chandler that day?
I believe so.
Okay. Tell me where you speak to Chandler in the Halderson home. Where do you go?
So when I spoke with Chandler, we were sitting at the dining room table.
And what did he tell you?
Chandler told me much of the same as what we've already heard. His parents had gone missing after reportedly going to the cabin. Chandler said that he had helped them pack for the cabin on the evening of July 1st. He woke up at approximately 6:15 a.m. on July 2nd, the Friday, and they were already gone. He told me that he believed his parents were leaving with a couple of friends. He did not know who the friends were.
Did he tell you anything they took with them to the cabin?
Yes, Chandler told me that he had helped his parents pack tools, wrenches, pipe sealant, a hatchet, and 2 gas cans for the chainsaw. He also later told us that there was a bin in the garage for the cabin that they would take every time, and that bin was no longer in the garage, so they had taken that also.
Did Chandler mention if he had heard from his mom or his dad since July 1st? So he's talking to you on the 7th. Had he heard from him in that intervening period at all by text message or phone?
Yes, Chandler told me that he received a text message on Sunday, July 4th, from his mother.
He showed it to you? Did
Yes.
he show you that message?
Yes, he did.
I'm showing you what's been marked in this case as exhibit number 3. It's 2 pages. Could you tell me what that is?
These are screenshots that Chandler had shown me that evening and then sent me.
And who are these communications purportedly with?
Chandler reported that those are his mother and him.
I move to admit exhibit 3 and publish it.
Any objection?
No.
It is received, and it may be published.
Showing everyone exhibit 3 up on some of the photos, by the way, we're going to do this to make it easier to see. This machine over here doesn't work very well. In these messages, there are 2 colors, and the messages are on 2 sides. But fair to say that messages purportedly from Mom are on the left and from Chandler are on the right.
Correct.
Okay. Mom says, "Hope things are going well for you, thinking about you." And Chandler says, "Going well, thanks." She sends a smiley face. And then Chandler says, "Dad's phone died, call or text me, and get soda on your way home. I have an extra hour of work." And she says, "K, I can." All that sound right?
Yes.
And then we get up to Saturday, which would be July 3rd, 2021. Appears as if Chandler sent a message to his mother. Hoping this goes through. I bet there's a lot of people up there making it hard to message. Correct?
Yes.
And then I'm going to move to the next screen because the next message goes over both. And we're starting in the middle. Krista reportedly responds, "Made it safely. Can't get anything through, and yes, it's packed. Going to White Lake today for the parade. Will be home Monday night, Tuesday early. Love you lots." 2 exclamation points. Sound about right?
Correct.
And that was sent at 11:04 a.m. on Sunday, the 4th of July.
Yes.
And then lastly, Chandler texted his parents, texted his mom that day that he went to the police station. "Hey, I'm worried. I'm at the police station. Can you text or call?"
Yes.
Okay. These were the messages that you found on Chandler's phone?
Correct. He showed me.
Okay. You had an opportunity both then and at many, perhaps, occasions in this case to observe the Halderson home and be in the Halderson home and view it and tour it, correct?
Yes, Chandler showed us around the home July 7th.
Throughout the course of the investigation, you've seen inside and outside the home,
Yes.
and you've been in every room in the home.
Yes.
You're aware perhaps thousands of photographs were taken of the home in the last 6-7 months, correct?
Several thousand.
Okay. I'm going to show you, not several thousand, but I am going to show you exhibits 4 through 25. And if you could just briefly page through those, and the question is going to be, are those photos of the inside and the outside of the Halderson home? But we'll have you look through them first. Just let me know when you're done.
Yes, those are all photos of the Halderson residence.
And move exhibits 4 through 25.
Any objection?
Thanks.
Can I just quick look at them?
Sure.
Thank you. instructions.
They are received. They may be published.
And Detective, we've been talking. Appreciate my mic's on here. Been talking a lot about this house, and so I'm going to ask you to kind of give us a tour as we go through some of this, so everyone can put some context to what we're looking at. What are we looking at there?
That is the north side or the back side of the Halderson home.
Backyard, essentially.
Backyard.
Exhibit 5. What are we looking at there?
This is the pond located behind their home, taken from their backyard.
Exhibit number 6.
Same pond behind the home.
Exhibit 7.
This is going to be the garage door and then also another entry door into the home. Goes into like a little foyer. If you take a sharp left, it goes to the garage.
Got it. So there's an entry right there, and then there's another maybe traditional front door in the front of the house.
Correct.
Exhibit number 8. What are we looking at there?
This is going to be the what I would call main living room of the home, taken as if you had just walked in the front door of the home. You can see the kitchen to the left and the dining room to the right or center.
Furniture there with some sheets on it, right?
Correct.
Did you ask Chandler to put those sheets on the furniture?
I did not. They were covered when we arrived.
Showing you Exhibit 9. What am I looking at there?
That's going to be the dining room table, and then the kitchen to the left.
When we talked earlier about that note from Ms. Sidwell, was that note found on that table?
Correct. It was on the table. I guess the upper left corner of the table is where it was located when Chandler showed it to myself.
Exhibit number 10.
This is Chandler's bedroom.
Now we're upstairs in the house.
Correct. Upstairs.
All the bedrooms are upstairs, right?
Yes.
Exhibit number 11.
Same. Chandler's bedroom.
Now Exhibit 12.
This one is going to be the parents' bedroom, Bart and Krista.
At the time you arrived, had people been looking around the house at that point?
I was aware that a few deputies had been shown around the home. This was not the state that the parents' bedroom was in when I first saw it.
What state was it in when you first saw it?
I stood in the doorway as not to enter. The bed did not have any of those items on it. The end table, I believe, was a little bit more organized.
Fair to say this picture was taken partially during the police search, and so things are out.
This was taken before the actual search warrant was conducted. Chandler told me that he had pulled out some drawers looking for certain things that would help in the investigation.
Understood. Exhibit number 13.
This is going to be what I guess you can call the office level of the home, fireplace, and there was couches pushed together if you were to look to the left from this view.
And we're going to talk a little bit about Exhibit 13 later on, but just a quick question about this fireplace. Is there a pane of glass broken out of that fireplace?
Yes, there is.
This is a different view looking over the table, Exhibit 14, looking back at the fireplace?
Yes, and the stairway there goes up that half flight to the kitchen.
On the table, there was a box fan when you arrived, correct? Or a small fan?
Yes.
Exhibit 15, is this that couch pushed together thing we've been hearing about?
Yes, this is the same room. That door goes to the backyard, and then these are the couches that were pushed together that Chandler reportedly used as a fort, is what he called it.
And these are very close to that fireplace, correct?
Correct.
Exhibit number 16, just briefly, what are we looking at there?
This is going to be the shower, which is the only working bathroom in the house, on that same level as the couches we just looked at.
Now we're in the basement, correct, with Exhibit 17?
Yes, this is the storage area, the lower portion, the basement, south side of it.
As a sheriff's deputy for quite a while, I imagine you've searched quite a few homes, right?
Yes,
People keep their basements in an array of states.
yes.
Was this on the more organized side or the less organized side of how people keep their basements?
I was impressed. This was organized.
Looking at exhibit number 18, what are we looking at there?
This is going to be the north side of the basement.
19?
Same, north side of the basement.
20?
This is a view from the north side of the basement looking back up the stairway. That stairway would go up to the level where the couch fort was. You can see the bottles of liquor there, along with some safes on the bottom center.
21?
This is a view of the storage area from the north side facing the south side.
That white thing in the middle, is that a chest freezer?
That is a chest freezer.
And when you were in the home, was that chest freezer empty?
The chest freezer was not in that location when I was there on July 7th speaking with Chandler.
Tell me about that.
When he was giving us the tour around the home, we went upstairs, he showed us around. We went in the living room, dining room, kitchen, down by the couches, and then ultimately down into this level. While we were down in this level, he kept the lights dim. We were on the north side first, and then we actually came over. I specifically remember looking at this location because just beyond where that freezer is, there's a cutout. Guesstimate would be 4x4 void, which I believe is under the front steps. That's beyond that, and then also the shelf to the behind the freezer there, the cleaning supplies. I just took note of all the cleaning supplies and toilet paper and whatnot. So that shelf was clearly visible. I was probably standing right where that freezer is.
So when you're on that, this picture's not taken on the 7th of July, by the way, correct?
It is not.
But when you're in the basement staring at this location on July 7th, you're saying that freezer's not there.
It was not.
Do you have any recollection of where it was?
I do not recall seeing that freezer anywhere in the house.
At that initial time when you were doing the tour with Chandler and walking around, were you taking photographs at that time?
I personally was not.
Exhibit 22, what are we looking at there?
This is the south side of the basement. You can see the utilities in the back.
23, more of the same?
Correct.
When you talk about organized, maybe perhaps this is what you're talking about, these bins?
Yes. Yep.
Number 24, is that the stairs heading back up into the house?
Correct.
And lastly, number 25, what are we looking at there?
This is going to be a picture of the inside of the garage. The entry door back into the house is over by the trash bins that you can see on the left side. These two vehicles are Krista and Bart Halderson's. The Subaru was reportedly driven by Bart, and the Volvo was reportedly driven by Krista.
Sure. During your initial tour with Chandler, did he take you into the garage?
Ultimately, yes. He seemed hesitant at first, but then did allow us into the garage.
What do you mean by that?
He told us that his two dogs were in the garage and that they were very skittish and would bark and jump on us.
But you were allowed into the garage?
Yes, he ultimately brought the dogs in from the garage and then let us out into the garage.
Did he point out anything in particular in the garage that was of interest to him or that he wanted you to know?
He did turn towards a storage shelf that's in the garage. He said that there was a bin missing that would be labeled cabin. So the bins that were on the storage shelf in the garage all had labels on them. At least I recall most, if not all, had labels on them. He said that one would have been taken to the cabin anytime they went, and that bin was missing.
I'm going to show you what's been marked in this case as Exhibit 227. Can you tell me what that is?
That's the storage shelf I'm speaking of.
And Judge, if you want to switch to the Elmo, I would appreciate it. And I'll move Exhibit 227 into evidence.
Any objection?
No objection.
It is received. It may be published.
And just because we have a singular one out of order here, I'm going to show it on this screen. But there we go. We're looking at a shelf in the garage full of bins, right?
Correct.
And I'm pointing to a location where there's a missing bin. Is that where Mr. Halderson reported that there was a cabin bin missing?
That's where he pointed to, yes.
No further questions at this time.
Cross-examination?
Not at this time, thank you.
Very good. Then, Detective, you may be reseated back at council table, and I assume the state and the defense would agree this is a good time for a break?
It is.
For us. I'm often never